Outside of Minnesota, it's a winter wonderland. But inside the Target Center, everybody's getting ready to watch one of the hottest teams in the NBA, the Minnesota Timberwolves. The main event, Iverson versus Garnett. AI versus KG. The answer versus the big ticket. Two players who never let up. The Sixers invade Minnesota, where the Timberwolves look to continue their winning way. It's Philadelphia against Kevin Garnett's Timberwolves. Many now believe he is the NBA's MVP this year. One of them, ladies and gentlemen, is right next to me, the great Bill Walton. I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along with us on this Sunday. However, Garnett has help. Let's take a look at Friday night's box score against the Lakers, what Sprewell and Cassell did, Bill.
Brent, all these years of Kevin Garnett up here playing by himself, that has been rectified because Latrell Sprewell and Sam Cassell are playing both at an all-star level. In the third quarter Friday night, it was all number 8, Latrell Sprewell, running the floor, pulling up for three-pointers. He had 19 points, and the ball movement was just outstanding. It literally never touched the floor. In the fourth quarter, it switched over to Sam Cassell, who comes with a devastating performance to dagger 16 points of his own. Now, Sam's one of those guys who can create by himself. This is the best team ever surrounding Kevin Garnett. It is not just Cassell and Sprewell. The guys on the bench, they've done it. Flip Saunders, Kevin McHale. They got a great squad playing at the top of their game right now.
Means that Allen Iverson has his hands full, but you were there Friday night when he came back to the Sixers lineup against the Hornets.
Allen Iverson had to sit out 2 games earlier in the week because of a bad finger, but it also gave him a chance to rest his knee, and you see him able to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Allen Iverson leads the NBA in scoring, leads the NBA in toughness. Allen Iverson is going to have another game of his life. He's got some help. Samuel Dallenberg had a very strong game, but if his forwards, Kenny Thomas and Glenn Big Dog Robinson, don't come in for big offensive punch, they're going to have trouble today. This should be a great game. Historically, these two teams play games right down to the wire, Brent.
Allen Iverson, the NBA's leading scorer. The tip-off is next.
ESPN's presentation of this NBA Special Edition, brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Kia Motors. Kia, make every mile count. And Nicorette Gum. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Welcome to this special edition of NBA basketball on ESPN on Super Bowl Sunday alongside Greg Anthony and Sean Elliott. I'm Kevin Frazier. And hey, Sean, the Minnesota Timberwolves have run off 11 straight against the Eastern Conference. Is Philly in trouble?
They have a chance here. I mean, they've been playing inspired basketball after the return of Allen Iverson. They are a scrappy group, and Samuel Dallenberg is emerging now. This guy has a chance to be a real player.
Well, they may be playing inspired basketball, but the reality is this: they're only 4-12 against the Western Conference, and right now, Minnesota is the best basketball team in all of basketball. I expect them to win.
Next to Sacramento.
I disagree.
We will be back at halftime with scores and highlights from this light day of NBA because everybody's focused on the Super Bowl. I bet in Philly, a lot of folks, though, Brent, thought they'd be watching the Eagles today.
Right about that, Kevin. Certainly the Timberwolves come in here with a record of 32-13. That compares with Sacramento's 33-12 in that pursuit of the best record in the regular season in the West. Now, let's take a look at our starting lineups here. And, Bill, let me ask you, what will the 76ers and Randy Ayers do against Kevin Garnett defensively?
Brent, when I asked Randy Ayers that, he was looking around, maybe hoping that Bobby Jones or Wilt Chamberlain, Billy Cunningham, Luke Jackson, or Chet Walker might show up for Philadelphia, but the task is going to fall on the broad shoulders of Kenny Thomas. Randy Ayers, the first-year head coach, second tenured coach in the Eastern Conference there after Eddie Jordan, but they're going to play a lot of zone, Philadelphia will, and they're going to try to force Kevin Garnett to stay away from the baskets. Samuel Dallenberg will come with a lot of double teams as well.
Greg Willard tosses it up. We're underway. And the Wolves in their white home jerseys with Cassell bringing it down to the left side. Sprewell loads Garnett on a tap pass to Cassell for the 3.
The pace of this game, Brent, is going to be very important. Philadelphia cannot let Minnesota get up and down. They don't have the offensive firepower depth-wise to keep pace with this magnificent Timberwolves squad.
8 on the shot.
Sprewell and Big Dog Robinson, that is an interesting matchup. Robinson should be able to take him inside, but Sprewell, a very crafty and intelligent defender.
Hassel chasing Iverson. Shot clock at 3. Big Dog Robinson, but it rattled out. Tap on the turnover, the first by the Wolves.
Cassell lost that ball trying to pick it up for the pass.
Here's Iverson wide open. You can't give him that look. He usually nails that shot. Thomas back.
Kevin Garnett, the leading rebounder in the league, as well as the best rebounder. I mean, he gets balls above the rim. You would think that he would just gobble that type of opportunity up.
Sprewell's little jump shot. He's good right from that spot, Bill.
He's in such a zone right now. He want to carry over. My big concern for Minnesota today is overconfidence. The huge win at LA, the quick turnaround. They stayed in LA, flew back yesterday during the daytime to allow them a more natural sleep rhythm.
What was the curfew Friday night?
Whatever it was, Sam missed it.
And so, nails the jumper for the Sixers.
I asked him if he went out after the game. He said, sure, this is LA.
Exactly. Johnson for a screen. That frees Sprewell. Some of the shooting we're seeing is cold as the weather outside.
I thought it warmed up considerably this morning from last night.
For a kid from San Diego walking with a light jacket like you did last night, I couldn't believe it. Here I am all bundled up looking for a taxi cab, and you're saying let's walk.
It was only 5 blocks.
Yeah, it was only 5 below.
A beautiful spring day here in the upper Midwest.
Sixers up by 2 with the ball out of bounds and 16 on the shot.
Nice pass by Eric Snow.
They doubled down very quickly, though, didn't they, Bill?
And he's going to have to learn how to handle that, because Sean Elliott was mentioning the evolution of Samuel Dalembert. As he gets better and better, they are going to come down on him every time.
Garnett's got to be looking for a shot, but Sprewell was wide open. He missed again. There is Dalembert with a strong defensive rebound.
What I like about Dalembert's rebounding is that he doesn't just get the ones that come right to him. He goes and gets them.
Thomas puts it down, and Garnett holds his ground, and Thomas with a nice left-handed move on Kevin.
And that's one of the theories of how do you go back at Kevin Garnett, trying to stop him at one end. You have to attack on the offensive end as well. Keep him occupied. Don't let him just dominate the defensive boards and block shots. A lot of zone defense here for Philadelphia early.
Garnett pulls the trigger finally, and off the miss, and the Sixers already lead it by 4. Looking strong in the early going.
Philadelphia has struggled over the last 2 months with injuries to Iverson. Right now, they look very good, though.
So back to Garnett, who ran the right side of the floor to join the break that time. Garnett just has that look about him this year. There are some players in the NBA, you know what kind of a season they're having, and that fierce, intense look. Speaking of that, Iverson comes back and draws the foul. Well, the third member of our team here in Minneapolis, home game, Michelle Tafoya.
Yeah, enjoying it, Brent. I had a chance to talk with Allen Iverson before the game about his injured right knuckle. He said it is sore. It really only hurts him when he catches the ball or that hand takes contact. He's more concerned about his team not letting down after their win over New Orleans on Friday. The Sixers have a trend of losing after big wins. Twice after wins over San Antonio, also after a win over New Jersey. And Iverson told me that defense is going to be the key today to not letting that happen after that big win over New Orleans, Bill, that you saw.
That was their best performance in quite some time. A healthy Allen Iverson, an inspired Samuel Dalembert, Aaron McKee hitting the game winner. And now you got Kenny Thomas off to a very strong start. Remember, Kenny Thomas has been in and out of the lineup with injuries of his own, so if he can find a rhythm, that would help immeasurably. And then the improvement of Big Dog since the first of the year has just really helped.
Okay. Hassel from the right corner. Makes it a 2-point game again.
The role players for Flip Saunders, the Trenton Hassels, the Irvin Johnsons, the Fred Hoibergs, really made strong contributions. Gary Trent as well, but he's been injured.
Iverson going down, gets bumped, still makes the shot.
Trenton Hassel is the defensive specialist in the starting unit here, and he's going to be guarding Iverson. Use some size and strength and leverage over the top.
Cassell with the 3 ball, and that should loosen that defense up a little bit if they get hot from the perimeter. They're doing a very good job of attacking Kevin Garnett with double teams and using off that zone here in the early going.
Sam Cassell destined to be named to the All-Star team on Tuesday for the first time in his long career. He really should have made it when he was playing so well for the Milwaukee Bucks a few years ago, but Ray Allen was taking that slot every single year, and Sam could just never quite make it.
We got a technical because of a defensive 3-second violation, so Robinson moves to the free throw line here for the Sixers.
Hey, Brent, I spoke to Sam Cassell earlier, asked him how much the All-Star game means to him, and he said, honestly, it doesn't. It probably means more to my friends than it does to me, but he agrees with Bill. He said, I think I've already had 3 or 4 All-Star seasons, just didn't get named to the team. So he honestly isn't bothered by all of the hype.
You don't believe that, do you, Michelle? Come on. There's not a single player in the league that doesn't desperately want to be on the NBA All-Star team.
Thomas desperately wanted that ball to fall on that dunk and couldn't get it there. Garnett back to Sprewell, in low to Johnson. Short on that baby hook.
Irvin Johnson playing about 22, 24 minutes a game in the middle.
Iverson back at that same spot, Bill.
The rhythm. He is a player that relies on playing huge minutes, having lots of touches, and he's got that rhythm now. The bounce to his step, a thing of beauty. Nice catch by Garnett.
Boy, the one thing about Garnett that gets overlooked is his passing ability. That time as he was coming right down the lane, and Bill talked about the catch, he spotted Hassel in that corner. Do you know Billy's in the top 25 in assists in the league?
Everything. 4th in scoring, 1st in rebounds, 10th in blocks, 6th in minutes. We're talking MVP.
Absolutely. Now, I know Duncan's going to make a run at him late because he always does.
Duncan plays his best basketball as the season goes on. The problem that Duncan's having right now is his teammates are not doing anything, whereas Garnett's teammates are doing the absolute perfect job, and the contributions that Sprewell, Cassell are giving him. The head-to-head rankings of this season. Minutes, Iverson, of course, at the top. He always leads the league. Points, he always leads. 3 out of the last 5 seasons he's been there. Steals, he's always there. But the addition of all the different guys, I mean, complete makeover of the roster for Minnesota.
And let's talk about the injured players like Olowokandi, Zerbiak, Hudson. Think about what they will be like when they get those players back on the bench.
Well, Zerbiak and Hudson, you know, once they're healthy, will play very well. The big question mark is Olowokandi. With him, you never really know if he's on the injured list or starting center for you.
Exactly.
How can you tell?
Back. They move it now to Iverson for the left side. Dalibert steps out. That was a shot he was practicing when we got here early this afternoon.
He's a very promising player with a lot of range. I like this matchup here of Dalibert versus KG, but when you have that Garnett.
Garnett says, single coverage, I'll take it to the baseline. Thank you very much.
But Brent, the great players in this league, and Garnett is right at the top, the defense makes no difference as to what it is their impact's going to be. It's whether they have it going that day, whether they're feeling good, or whether they're asserting themselves.
Robinson, and of course that's why the Sixers have him in their lineup, is for offensive firepower, not noted as a defensive stopper by any means.
Don't go out on a limb there.
Sprewell stepped he's short. That big dog.
Well, Big Dog Robinson is the best offensive player that Iverson's ever played with.
So we've got a break here in the early going. Iverson, the 76ers, with a strong start. As Bill Walton predicted, the T-Wolves a little flat after the big win over LA.
This update brought to you by Taco Bell. Kevin Frazier, Greg Anthony in the studio. We check in on LeBron James, and he may be young, but he's ready, Greg.
Well, he's improved the jump shot. You have to honor it, and that gives him the ability to beat you off the dribble. And that jump shot we just talked about, he had it flowing tonight, yeah.
38 points for LeBron as the Cleveland Cavaliers went on the road again. Are they going to sneak into the playoffs?
Hey, they're only a game and a half out.
Meanwhile, Shaquille O'Neal 26-7 as the Lakers lead the Raptors. They're trying to pull their world together. Let's go back to our game.
Thanks, Kevin. Big afternoon for rookie LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal. That game's still going on, of course, against Toronto. Now, a couple of lineup changes for the Timberwolves. Hoiberg checks in defensively against Robinson, you see. Madsen already on the floor. Sixers stay with their starting five. Snow misses the shot into Garnett's hands.
Kevin Garnett just roams that defensive board. He leads the NBA in defensive rebounds per game.
Cassell goes right to the glass.
Sam Cassell, even though he's a two-time world champion, was a great star for Milwaukee for so many years, he's having career years in both points and field goal percentage. Over 21 points a game, over 49% field goal percentage. In this day and age, that's just remarkable.
The feed from Iverson to Snow. Nails the shot and makes it 25-17 Philly.
The rest of the Sixers have come to play today. On Friday night against New Orleans, it was all Allen Iverson. He had 23 first-half points. But today, the rest of the guys are delivering early.
Well, I thought that as Garnett finally finds his range on that 22-foot. I actually thought Aaron McKee helped him big time late with those two jump shots when I was watching the game on TV.
Well, he was strong late, but at the beginning when
You're
they
right.
were all flat because they had lost 4 straight going into that game. And so they were very upset and disappointed as to what it was going to be. Iverson, a three-point play opportunity the hard way here. He's just so quick. I mean, Latrell Sprewell can be a very good defensive player. He just goes through 3 guys. Madsen comes over, and then at the back of that line was Kevin Garnett.
I had a couple of football recruiters tell me that when they watched Allen Iverson play high school football, they thought he was a better football prospect than Michael Vick. If you can believe it. Yes. Yes, sir. He is a tough hombre when you watch him.
Now, how big is Michael Vick? Oh, nice pass. Please, Mark, stick a fork in it.
Outside, I was thinking about Michael Vick's size when you were sticking a fork in it there. And he's a little bit taller and now broader than Allen Iverson, but not a whole lot. Okay.
So he's a little guy.
Yeah, he's a little guy, but he's a tough hombre too, like Allen Iverson. There's McKee.
Philadelphia plays like this all the time. They wouldn't be talking about pulling triggers on trade opportunities. This is a sharp-looking squad right now.
Build a 9-point lead. Remember now, the Timberwolves played very badly in the first half out in Los Angeles before they caught fire. Thomas goes in.
Beautiful spread of the floor, and the fans restless here at the Target Center.
Yeah, they had to get up early for this. Martin, who they picked up, signed into a 10-day contract, the left-hander. He's a basketball survivor, Bill. CBA day.
Oh, the UCLA legend, Derek Martin.
Wasn't drafted, right, when he came out of UCLA?
Undrafted because the coach at the time there jerked him around and took him out of the starting lineup in what was a very, very solid UCLA squad. The defense on Allen Iverson. Derek Martin doing it right now, but you change up so many times to try to confuse Allen Iverson, but he gets absolutely unlimited numbers of screens out there. Yeah, Philadelphia, they are taking it right to the Timberwolves right now.
They look good here in the early going. Iverson's 3 of 5. He has 9 points and he has 3 assists. So you can total that up. Some of you are interested in that number today. Thomas with the right hand, and would you stay down?
Talking to Kenny Thomas about playing Garnett, he said when he played in Houston, he had to guard Kevin Garnett all the time in the Western Conference. So he's got plenty of experience against the big boys, Duncan and Garnett.
This fires on the 3. And Snow comes right back down the floor, and Madsen collides with him and fouls him. Madsen may have hit his knee. No, I think it's his hip, actually. A little bit of pain he'll shake it off. Madsen's one of those wonderful role players, Bill, in the NBA. I'm sure you'd agree. He doesn't mind if he plays no minutes or 13 minutes and does what the coach needs to do.
He's one of my favorites. Mark Madsen, one of 10 children, 5th oldest. Mom and dad live in Danville, California, the East San Francisco Bay Area. His dad was a high-level executive with Goldman Sachs.
You can create your fantasy dream team. Play NBA.com's virtual GM and win weekly prizes all season long. I want Bill Walton in the high post. Some of you youngsters out there who didn't watch my partner play center, man, have never been a better passing center than Mr. Walton. And his old coaches over there doing a little radio for ESPN. Dr. Jack Ramsey's in the house today.
This has been reunion weekend for me, sitting here next to you, the legend, the Hall of Famer, seeing Jack Ramsey. We all had breakfast this morning at the hotel.
There's Dr. Jack. I'll tell you, what a wonderful man and a great coach. And, of course, during his tenure there, Bill Walton led the Trailblazers to a world championship. But you give Dr. Jack a lot of credit, though.
Jack Ramsey made me the best player I ever was. Jack Ramsey was the man who presented me into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Jack Ramsey's got a great new book out right now. Jack Ramsey's Leadership Lessons in Life. Get it.
That's the end of our first quarter. Dr. Jack out of St. Joe's.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Right now, it has been all this guy, Bill. Allen Iverson, Kenny Thomas. The rest of the 76ers have been doing a job. An impressive defensive job by Thomas, too. It's 36-23 Philly.
And with the Timberwolves playing so well as they surge to the top here, really since they decided to go without Olowokandi, that's when the team really started to catch fire, that they were playing so well that right now they just seem to believe that they can win any game at the very end.
College basketball's Big Monday, presented by Bud Light, has 2 wonderful games tomorrow on ESPN. First at 7 p.m., Big East Showdown, Syracuse against Connecticut, then out to the Big 12 for Missouri against Kansas. That's tomorrow on ESPN.
Have you seen the big man Okafor?
Yes, I have.
Very nice talent. Yeah.
He'll get player. He'll get player.
Don't go out on a limb, Brent. That guy is going to have a great career.
Robinson. And, you know, Big Dog's had a solid first half.
This is the best I've seen the dog bark for Philadelphia.
He and Thomas have really supported Allen Iverson here in the first half. The big 3 for the 76ers, and they've been the difference. Hassel misses the 3, and Johnson with an offensive rebound, and Cassell misses. So a very cold shooting Minnesota team overall in this game. Spree, for example, has 9 points in the last 2 minutes. He's basically carrying the load. That's 2 on Cassell. When you take a look at the shooting percentage, 57% for Philadelphia.
And this is a good defensive squad here that comes in with some stoppers. I mean, Kevin Garnett is an all-league defensive player. Spree on Cassell when they put their minds to it. But right now, Philadelphia is just outworking them. And they're outthinking them. It seems as if the game means more to Philadelphia. Granted, Philadelphia is in a dogfight for a playoff berth at the bottom of the Eastern Conference ladder, but Minnesota has a great home court schedule coming up the month of February. They only play 5 road games the entire month of February, where they have 10 home games. So they have a chance to solidify their position at the top in the West here.
I'd be very disappointed, though, if they didn't have a much stronger second half. As Spree was fouled by Snow. I just think that they're going to gather themselves a little bit and try to make that surge. Philadelphia, on the other hand, deserves a lot of credit. Randy Ayers and his assistants over there, Bob Bender, Alex English, Chris Ford, Chris Gent, Frank Zan, that coaching staff, they had these kids ready today, and you've got to give them credit.
Randy Ayers put together an outstanding staff.
Yes, he did.
The Hall of Famer Alex English, Chris Ford, the legend Villanova, the Detroit Pistons, and the Boston Celtics, where he was with the green for so many years. It's always difficult to make that transition for a player or a coach, excuse me, like a Randy Ayers coming from the college game. But he has made it, and very few have.
Wonderful guy. He was at Miami of Ohio State.
You know, the guy who hasn't played for Minnesota has been Kevin Garnett.
Iverson misses off of Johnson's hands, and because he couldn't catch the ball, Philadelphia here with an opportunity to almost close the first half out. Snow is going to yo-yo the seconds down off until they get inside 10, down around 7. He'll attack. They don't want to leave the Timberwolves with much on that clock at all, if any. Iverson got inside, and he traveled. And they left 8.5 seconds. Plenty of time here for the Timberwolves.
A great thing for Philadelphia, they haven't come in here today making excuses. They are not looking at the refs. They are not whining and complaining. They have come to fight. They have come to win today, the Sixers.
The Timberwolves will talk about it. And Big Dog Roberts wandered around a little bit after leaving Milwaukee, where he was a first draft choice out of Purdue.
Well, he was in the netherworld of the Atlanta Hawks down there, and hasn't been good for anybody's career. But now coming up here and teaming with Iverson. Earlier this week, Big Dog Robinson was barking at his own coach. The disastrous loss that they had at home Tuesday night against New Jersey, the worst home loss of the season for Philadelphia. Glenn Robinson played very little in the second half, and he was very upset about it. He has come out tonight and shown it. Why would you ever take me out, coach?
Exactly. Martin back on the floor. At the buzzer, Garnett signals it may be a different half after the intermission.
And it was the same thing Friday night at Staples Center in L.A. Sprewell hits the three-pointer at the end of the half. That ignited him.
So Garnett with 12 points here in the first half. Iverson with 18. Garnett with 3 rebounds and 5 assists.
3 rebounds for Kevin Garnett. He's the NBA's best rebounder. What's going on here?
Not even half his total. Not even close to it.
Well, he averages 14.5 per game.
Sprewell with 15. Cassell with 15. One more look. Officials are checking now, and Greg Willard making the call as to whether it's a 3 or a 2. He's taking another look. You can see Garnett over in that corner.
Well, it's clearly good. If it takes them this long on that easy of a call, what are they going to do when they really have to make a decision?
Let's go to Michelle.
All right, Kenny Thomas had 12 points in the first half, but defensively, how did you keep Kevin Garnett in check?
The thing about it is I'm not keeping him in check. The guy's unbelievable. He really didn't post up that much. He was like playing on the elbow area and outside, and I mean that's to our advantage to keep him off the block if you don't go to the box.
You guys have had some letdowns after big wins this season. You had a big win Friday against New Orleans. Where is this offensive energy coming from?
I think with Allen back. Allen's back now, and he came out in New Orleans and put on a good performance, and he's coming out and doing the same thing. So, I mean, he's the franchise of his team, but I think we're all coming together now, and finally we have everybody back, so it feels good to be winning.
Good luck the rest of the way, Kenny.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to you, Brent.
All right, Michelle, coming up at halftime now, it's the Toyota halftime show. We'll head back to the studio. We'll join Kevin Frazier, Greg Anthony, and Sean Elliott. Main stories, LeBron with a big day. Iverson on the gridiron, and the Super Bowl prediction. So Philadelphia, led by Allen Iverson, takes a big lead. But the Timberwolves will attempt to regroup as they did Friday night in Los Angeles. Plenty of basketball still to come. Well, it's halftime in Minnesota, and the Philadelphia 76ers are surprising the Timberwolves, leading 63-52. Allen Iverson, playing for the second time since returning from an injury, scored 18 points in the first half on 6 of 11 shooting. Meanwhile, at the other end, Kevin Garnett was only 4 of 9, and more impressively was held to just 3 defensive rebounds in the first half. And so we'll have the second half after these messages. Here at the Target Center, the Timberwolves trail the 76ers 63-52. Now, we've talked a lot about the big three of the Timberwolves: Sprewell, Cassell, and Garnett. And here in the first half, you can see that they combined for 42 points amongst the three of them. And that translates to 81%. However, on the other side, how about Robinson, Thomas, and Iverson? Let's show you what they have done, because Allen Iverson has been leading the way, and he's had a lot of great help here today. And that translates to a very solid percentage of what the 76ers were able to do in the first half.
The Timberwolves never led as they came out flat. The running game for Iverson, fast break points in favor of the 76ers. The Sixers shot a brilliant percentage. They dominated the boards, and they got to the free throw line, all critical elements for winning on the road.
Let's check in now with Michelle.
Well, I spoke with Flip coming out of the locker room. He was a little bit encouraged, guys, by that last 4 minutes of the first half. But in the second half, he wants more defense. He thinks their zone is performing better than their man. He's looking for a little bit more trapping. Defensive sets that create energy, Bill.
Watch the Super Bowl if you want defense. This is the way basketball should be. Both NBA teams, 50% or better from the floor. Only 6 turnovers apiece. 115 total points in the first half. The shades of the Walton gang up in Portland.
And out of 26 attempted free throws, 25 of them went down today. This is a game.
Dallenberg flashes. In Garnett's hands.
Brett, the games between these two franchises historically go down to the very end. 10 out of the last 15 times they've played, the game has been decided by 5 points or less.
And Minnesota plays a little bit tougher. It's headed that way again. And Garnett still can't get the rhythm on his shot.
It's all front of the rim. All right, Irvin Johnson scores.
Not another assist by Garnett. That's a half dozen for the game for Kevin. He's the high assist man in this game.
You mentioned the 81% of the points coming from the big three for Minnesota. That is becoming a disturbing and alarming trend, because in the game Friday night in LA, which was a huge victory for them, only 3 other guys scored, and those 3 guys combined for 14 points.
Yeah, they didn't spread it around, but I guess they didn't have to in that game. Here comes Sprewell.
He is in such a zone right now. You just feel it. You see the confidence, you see the rhythm.
Got it down to 10. Once trailed by 18 in the first half. Iverson covered up. 6 on the shot. Eric Snow.
Philadelphia's offensive execution has been superb throughout this game. The effort to make a better defensive stand has come for Flip Saunders as Kevin Garnett tries to work his way into a more impactful flow of this game.
Yeah, Bill, that's one of the few times we've seen him attack, and he wanted to foul and didn't get it on the play also. But nice pass inside to Robinson. Didn't get it to fall.
Dallenberg
staying with it. Jump ball.
But Dallenberg's ability to get to the offensive glass, Philadelphia has a completely different mindset. And their approach to the game is, hey, the more shots we take, the more chances he's going to get back for us. But this is a rising star, Samuel Dallenberg. Interesting jump ball technique, too.
It wasn't very effective technique, I might add.
But he didn't stay control of the ball without him ever even leaving the floor.
Sometimes it helps to get lucky there, sir. Iverson misfiring.
Never discount the power of luck.
Yeah, we got that right.
Nice pass.
The most open man misses the shot by Garnett with an offensive rebound.
He does everything. Forcing Randy Ayers to take a timeout. Does not like the swing of momentum right now. Back to the home team, Minnesota.
Yeah, no question. And a lot of this momentum was triggered by that end of the first half shot by Garnett. Right back in it. Once down by 18, now it's only 8.
Kevin Frazier in the studio. You are watching the NBA on ESPN. Due to time constraints, we're going to move ahead in the action right after this break.
ESPN's presentation of this NBA Special Edition brought to you by Parents, the anti-drug. You're more powerful than you know. Subway, good so you don't always have to be. Subway, eat fresh. And the new Chevrolets, 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American revolution.
Here is today's Chevrolet game track, Mr. Walton.
Kevin Garnett, who has come alive here in the second half, well on his way to yet another triple-double. Allen Iverson, red hot early, has 8 assists to go as well, but he's 0 for 5 here in the third quarter as the field goal percentage has just been a teeter-totter. It was all Philadelphia in the first half. Right now it's Minnesota who is showing the complete control right there. Kevin Garnett has also made his last 6 shot attempts, and in the quarter has 12 points, 6 boards, and 2 assists.
And Allen Iverson in the first half with 18 and only 2 here in the third quarter.
This is the mirror image of what happened Friday night. In Friday night's game against New Orleans at Philly, Allen had 23 points in the first half, and then only had 8 the entire second half. They were able to hold on and win that game.
Well, Trenton Hassel, number 23, deserves a lot of credit for the work he has done defensively. He is chasing Iverson through screens, trying to get after him now. He gets through there.
One of those unheralded role players like Fred Hoiberg, never gets any credit or recognition, but they're instrumental.
Reminded me of Bowen down at San Antonio with that strong defensive play. Miller off with the rebound, and Iverson just cannot get any daylight against number 23 right now.
Derek Martin running the show now for Flip Saunders.
Six on the shot.
Nice over
Wide open. 2 on the shot. Has to get it back, and there's a violation. Garnett should have gone strong. He realizes it's his fault.
He immediately raised his hand and said, I got to shoot that ball. But one of the reasons they really like just Jerry Sichting and Flip Saunders talking about their offensive execution. Jerry Sichting, remember that 86 Celtic team, and proud father of 4 children. He and his wife Joni have really made a nice home here in Minneapolis, but they love Oliver Miller's ability at the high post to swing that ball.
Dallenberg is shaken up.
Gary Trent is not a flow guy at that high post position. Certainly Irvin Johnson's not going to do it. And Oliver Miller, if he can continue this fine play and stay healthy, he can make a real difference down the stretch.
Iverson's being hounded. So Garnett's deflected. Hoiberg on the follow. Garnett.
The spacing is bad for Philadelphia's set offense. Nice passing.
Hoiberg. Caskill. Replaced Dallenberg.
A tremendous pressure now on McCaskill. And Dallenberg was patrolling the paint.
Thomas. Into Hassel's hands. The defensive rebound.
Kenny Thomas's domination of Kevin Garnett in the first half has not sustained through the third. Ooh, they're calling this an offensive foul on Kevin Garnett.
I thought McCaskill was on him.
I thought he was inside his jersey.
Yes. Michelle, what's the injury situation?
Well, with Samuel Dallenberg, it appears, the Sixers have told me anyway, that he took an elbow to the back, but they do expect him to return. What Randy Ayers is more concerned about right now is keeping his team calm. If you see the elbow to the back there for Dallenberg, he is in a pretty good deal of pain. But Ayers trying to keep the team calm, telling them they've got to accept the challenge. They have plenty of time. They've got to get their heads into this game and take deep breaths and continue to play.
Debate on the shot. McCaskill went strong, and he's on the free throw line. Kyle Korver, who did not play in the first half, checked in for Philadelphia. He, of course, is a three-point specialist. So here for the closing seconds of the third quarter. If they look for a long ball, it could go to Korver. Reminder now that tomorrow on NBA TV, we've got San Antonio at Utah at 9 p.m. Next Sunday on ABC, it'll be the Shaq Man and the Lakers at Orlando. Then Thursday on TNT, Lakers are at these Philadelphia 76ers, followed by San Antonio, Seattle. That, of course, on TNT. McCaskill misses that free throw and into Garnett's hands. Last shot time here in the third quarter. Minnesota trailed once by 18 in the first half. Now they can either tie it or pull to within one on the last shot or be down by 3 going to the fourth. But anyway, they made a stand in the third quarter, no matter what happens here.
Go to the basket here.
And he did just that. 2 seconds left. Green at the buzzer. And it is a 1-point game, Bill.
The loss of Dallenberg is critical. They were going all small right there, and they spread the floor. McCaskill had to come away from the court to guard Kevin Garnett. Derek Martin just too tricky inside.
How about those numbers? 24 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. As Kevin Garnett comes to play, Sid Hartman has to duck from the roster. Coming up now, Kevin Garnett and the Minnesota Timberwolves will attempt to come all the way back in the fourth. The Timberwolves show up in the third quarter, outscoring the 76ers 27-17. So Coach Flip Saunders, one of the deans of the Western Conference, got what he was seeking here in the second half. You can see that Flip trails only Jerry Sloan with the same team. Now, look at Ayers. By 1 day, or he would be the senior coach in the East. But listen to how calm he is over there in the Philadelphia huddle.
Hey, come on now, we got to accept it. We win it. That's exactly right. Slow down. Slow down. We're okay. Slow down. Buddy, sit back, take a deep breath. We're all right. We're all right. Come on. There's a lot of basketball to be played. We got to grind this thing out right now. Slow down. Get your heads together. All right?
We have to grind it out. That's Eastern Conference basketball. Grind it out is what they want to do right now. Allen Iverson, just 2 free throws in that third quarter. 0 of 5 from the floor against Trenton Hassel. He's out of Austin Peay and has done a sensational job defensively here.
One thing that will really help that grinder is that Samuel Dallenberg is back in the game right now. He's matched up with Kevin Garnett, who's sizzling.
Marks 3, rattles out, and right away Dallenberg with the defensive rebound and a little bit of a slight hitch as he comes down the floor. But Dallenberg with Garnett on him goes in underneath. McCaskill stays out there for the Sixers. Here's Iverson. Hassel's right there on him. Open man's McKee. This is the 3. Rebound goes Garnett's way.
Look at the lineup that Flip Saunders has out there right now. They are relying exclusively on Kevin Garnett.
Against Dallenberg for the lead. Didn't get it into Iverson's hands. Iverson's pass deflected Garnett. Dallenberg comes back firing.
Kevin Garnett is guarding the entire team for Philadelphia. I don't think they pay Kevin Garnett enough.
Here comes Garnett.
Nice pass.
Into Miller's hands. And the lead is taken on an assist by Kevin Garnett with Oliver Miller on the other side.
What vision. What imagination.
Well, his vision is remarkable.
Philadelphia's missed 13 of their last 14 shots. Where's the competitive response from Iverson, the big dog? Kenny Thomas.
No answer, though. He's a tough guy. Regains the lead now for the Sixers. We come down toward 10 minutes. They're going to need Iverson.
High-scoring games, Philadelphia does not succeed in.
Another behind the back. Garnett to Miller. Man, what a pass that was.
That's the greatest pass I've ever seen Kevin Garnett throw.
That was a Houdini-like pass back there. What did Bill? Huh? Looked like
He's got
Bob Cousy at his finest. Unbelievable.
2 possessions ago, he turns and finds him without even seeing him, just assuming he's going to be there. This time, he says, well, I'm going to see how much more difficult I can make it. He's walking away. Tease him, KG. 24 points, 12 boards, 9 assists.
Put some numbers up here now. And Iverson draws the foul.
Why'd they take him out? Kevin Garnett.
Well, I would guess that that is probably what he normally does, Bill. I'm just guessing now that Flip wants to rest him and then bring him back for this drive. I'm standing up for the coach over there now.
This is Super Bowl Sunday.
You got
Our country's biggest holiday.
excuse me.
The lead-in game.
Maybe the biggest drinking holiday, my friend. There's a couple others out there. Where are you going to watch the game, by the way?
On the airplane.
That's what I figured.
Zone defense. Now they don't have Kevin Garnett to worry about anymore.
Oliver Miller.
He has not been making that shot. They haven't really been asking him to take that shot a lot, but with no other offensive firepower that's in rhythm right now, he's forced to do it, Oliver Miller.
Snow. Steal by Cassell.
Beautiful.
Lead now to Hassel, who's done the dirty work, and he gets to slam one down for the crowd. And Minnesota leads it 85-84 inside of 9.
Randy Ayers had burned so many timeouts stemming this great comeback by Minnesota. Now he's up against it and has to save him for the end.
Dallenberg stepped out and missed that shot.
To watch Sam Cassell play basketball is like watching a great conductor of a symphony.
Away from the ball. Goes against the Timberwolves.
Sprewell just threw Allen Iverson to the floor. Sam Cassell setting it all up by beautifully driving away from the basket to create the space when there's only one defender back.
So, at the other end of our break, we'll have a post-game report on the Lakers. Minnesota leads it here 85-84.
Kevin Frazier in the studio. You are watching the NBA on ESPN. Due to time constraints, we're going to move ahead in the action right after this break.
ESPN's presentation of this NBA Special Edition, brought to you by Extra, the gum that doesn't give up, and Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
We've had 10 lead changes today, all coming in this quarter. And with the last one, Philadelphia regained the lead. We check in with Michelle.
Well, Brent, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Philadelphia trying to follow up a good win with another good win. They won Friday, beating New Orleans, and they're trying to follow it up today. Randy Ayers says we haven't been able to carry over from a good win. I don't know why. We've never talked about it. We're just now trying to be consistent. Everyone was upbeat in our morning meeting. That was about 9 o'clock local. We had Chalk Talk. We looked at Wolves highlights. Everyone was talkative. They sure came out upbeat in this game. Whether or not they can hang on remains to be seen, Brent.
All right, Michelle, 5:45 to go now. They're down by 3. Garnett in for the stretch.
Nice pass again by Garnett.
Hoiberg's a great shooter. Not that time. Madsen with an offensive rebound. And it's Spree with a 2, and they miss. They go 0 for 2 on that trip.
Generally, when you get an offensive rebound, you want to bring it back out, run some more clock, put some more pressure on the defense, and get the ball to your MVP, Kevin Garnett.
Robinson turns on Hoiberg. Thomas,
What great
travels. And Garnett jumped in on him, and he couldn't do anything.
The range of Kevin Garnett on the defensive end, he's away from the ball. He's on the other side of the basket and comes all the way over. And from the time Kenny Thomas jumped in the air, Kevin Garnett was able to seal off that entire distance.
And Sam Cassell nails the 3 ball to tie it at the 4:50 mark.
And the screen set by Kevin Garnett.
Iverson being chased right now by Sprewell.
Well, they're just playing zone defense out there. And as Iverson, that's a dangerous play by Garnett. You don't want to do that because you never know if they're going to count that as a shot attempt.
So out of bounds sideline. Sixers after the foul call here. Robinson.
A lot of pump faking by the Sixers.
5 on that shot now for Iverson. Robinson's got to go. Missed everything. Shot clock violation. T-Wolves ball. Chance to regain the lead.
Hoiberg's willingness to put his body in harm's way and to get out there and just chase down wide open guys. He's an invaluable contributor to this complete and deep squad that Kevin McHale and Flip Saunders have assembled here.
Cassell quickly to the attack. Over to Garnett for the lead. Got it.
Is there anything he hasn't done?
What a second half he's turned into, Bill. One of the most impressive we've seen and full of fire. And of course, they can talk about this team. They can wind up with the best. And the 76ers have that foul in their hip pocket. Still 1:48 to go. Kevin Garnett now with Allen Iverson coming back off the bench here, Bill.
So very difficult to sustain your physical fitness level when you're injured. Allen Iverson really hasn't been able to play that much for the last 5 weeks. Second half drop off, 2 games in a row now, the 2 that he's played since having to sit out 2 with a bad finger. 1 for 8 shooting, just 6 points total in the entire second half for the NBA's leading scorer.
11 on that shot clock. Hassel is trailing Iverson. He's done most of the work against him. McKee with 7 attacks. Kicks now to Robinson. On a runner, the whistle. And Robinson's coming to the free throw line.
Randy Ayers going with a completely offensive-oriented lineup right now. And he's making a little defensive substitution here as they'll have to retreat after the free throw attempts. But with the 3 guards and 2 forwards here, really presents a lot of problems for Flip Saunders' defense.
This is the 11th free throw of this quarter for Philadelphia. Ties the score at 96. Dallenberg checks back in. Minnesota, Bill, has not been on that free throw line yet this quarter.
Well, it's amazing that Philadelphia could get that many free throws in this game, attempts, without having a post-up presence. It's not as if the big dog has been down back to the basket grinding it out. They've been driving, they've been fighting for rebounds, and now they've got the lead with under a minute 40.
And they did it at the line on the road. Cassell
Nice
whips it to Garnett. Garnett lays it in. 98-97 T-Wolves.
They went for the double screen for the guy coming out on the weak side, and Kevin Garnett, realizing that the defense had completely broken down, he just flashed wide open to the hoop.
30-point afternoon for Garnett. Iverson on a pump fake is covered, couldn't pull the trigger.
And Hassel staying down. What discipline.
3 on the shot. Snow's got to hurry.
Hassel.
Boy, he's done some nice things. Great defensive job on Allen Iverson here by Hassel, who played collegiately at Austin Peay.
It's almost as if you have to have a double letter in your name to play for Flip Saunders here.
Garnett outside off iron. Sixers got a chance. Iverson in a foot race. And Allen Iverson hustling down the court against Hassel. Drew the foul. They are back on the line. Now watch Allen Iverson.
Iverson's coming from way out of the play. The ball is loose. People are leaning and reaching, and he's just on the dead run. So explosive.
He's perfect on the line today. He's 9 of 9. He's just tied it. We have 42 seconds left. Remember one thing that we showed you in that graphic coming out of the last time out. The 76ers have a foul to give yet. That's the lead. Iverson puts him ahead. And let's see, Flip wants to call a timeout.
The shot clock is clearly in favor of the home team, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They can go 2 for 1, but they got to take the first good shot and not be in a situation where they're thinking about milking it all the way to the point where it just becomes such a stagnated offensive sequence that they have no chance then to get something good and effective up against the end of the shot clock.
You know, Bill, you've got to be impressed by the fact that Philadelphia didn't go away late in this quarter. After Kevin Garnett had his monster period in this game, it looked like the Timberwolves had it in control, but they hung tough, Philly.
Remember Randy Ayer's timeout at the end of the third when it seemed like they were losing control of the situation. And he said, calm down, guys. We're ahead. Stay with our game plan. It's good enough. We have what it takes to win, and they have played with such mental fortitude and discipline here. Give him a lot of credit.
Now you've got to keep an eye on Kevin Garnett. Thomas checks up the clock. 42 for the game now. Madsen hands it back to Cassell.
Sprewell and Cassell are the main players right here.
Garnett posts up low on D'Alembert. Pump fake. Levin on the shot. Goes in the paint. Here comes Garnett. Taps it back up. He's on the line.
Shooting foul, so that'll be 2 free throws for Kevin Garnett. No complaint whatsoever. I thought Garnett lost the ball on the way up here.
He did tap back at it. There was no question about that. The body contact might have come prior to that on the shot. So they elect not to use that foul to wrap him up before he can pull the trigger. And because they foul him in the act of shooting, he's now on the line and he can put Minnesota ahead.
D'Alembert played them as well as you can.
Absolutely.
Forcing a right-handed shooter to turn all the way around.
Minnesota back ahead. Now 26 seconds, trailing by 1. Let's see how the Sixers play. Madsen rides off of Iverson. Iverson attacks Hassel, kicks corner. Shot by Snow, misses. Wrapped up by Madsen underneath. And Cassell's coming to shoot free throws with 15 seconds on the clock.
Kevin McHale relieved that it's Sam Cassell going to the free throw line. Randy Ayers. The edge that you live on in the NBA, where one shot determines whether your day was successful. Philadelphia still has 1 full timeout. Minnesota with 2. But Cassell's a great free throw shooter.
As that graphic indicates, almost, well, if he makes these 50 in a row for Cassell with 15.5, up by 1. Randy Ayers and the Sixers will be looking for that 3 ball.
Are they going to call the timeout, or are they going to try to keep the flow going and not let Minnesota set their defense?
Ayers is up over there, and he'll call the timeout. So 15.5 seconds left on the clock. But Philadelphia still in this one. So we're back now with Randy Ayers and the Sixers going over their plans for the final 15 seconds. Down by 3 points. They were in a tight game, of course, at home against the Hornets on Friday night. And Aaron McKee, over the last minute and a half, was the designated shooter. And I guess what we're thinking about here is if Iverson does not take the shot, who would you want to take the outside look? And McKee would certainly be someone you would think about here, Val. If the defense collapses on Iverson and he can kick it back on the outside. I see, though, that Kyle Korver, another excellent three-point shooter, has come onto the floor. So you've got McKee, Robinson, Korver, and Thomas to perhaps dig a rebound out. Iverson will take the ball out of bounds, which can make him dangerous on a return pass. There's Korver. They're down 3.
I don't know if you have to go for 3 right now. 15 and a half is a lot of time. You can get a quick 2 and then hope that they miss another free throw. But
yeah, that's a good point. 15-5 is a lot.
That's an eternity in the NBA. But a penetration and dish.
Back to Iverson. Now he's going to his hands. He's going to come all the way for the 2. Took it. Just what Bill suggested that they do. Now they'll have the quick foul, trailing it by 1.
Hassel's the guy. Hassel and Hoiberg are the guys who want to foul, not.
Well, they put it in, but they got to. With the time running down, they were going to put it in Cassell's hands.
But what you do there is you double team Cassell off the ball, so that you have to throw it to somebody else.
He's pretty good about swinging.
Yeah, well, he's
you know,
he's real good at.
And Sam's hit 50.
Hitting you in the chin with his elbow to
Did you
get
see
open.
that push up? Yeah, it was a little bit of a slick thing. I mean, you know, he learned down there with the Seminoles football team when he was at Florida State. He knows how to
learned from Charlie Ward, the Heisman Trophy winner.
Exactly.
What a backcourt that was. Bobby Sura, Sam Cassell.
Has 51 in a row for Sam Cassell, but Philly's still in the thick of it, one way or the other. 10.8 to go.
But now Philadelphia has no timeouts.
And Randy Ayers is just telling him to go to the corner. And so McKee's coming down and Hoiberg's going right with him. He just told McKee to go to the corner.
You got to defend the 3 or foul to keep even getting an attempt.
Iverson tracks it down. 5, fires. Not a good shot. Sam Cassell's got it, and that should do it. 2.2. That running effort by Iverson just did not have a pretty look to it.
With that much time, Kevin McHale can finally exhale. But generally in a situation like that with 10.8 seconds, you get at least 2 or 3 passes. I mean, throw it into a big guy who will then turn and kick it back out. But if you just go 1 against 5, as Iverson attempted there, that's rarely going to work.
It shows you, though, the difficulty of bringing the ball up the entire length of the court. If they'd had a timeout, they'd have had it at midcourt. Iverson could have stepped out, got a return pass. It would have been so much easier for Allen than what he had to do.
But Randy Ayers had to use all those timeouts in the 3rd quarter to stem the flood.
He sure needed one, though, Bill, at the end, I'll tell you. Back now to Cassell. That's going to do it. Minnesota down 18 in the first half. Rallies to beat a game Philadelphia team by 5, 106-101. High-scoring game, 207 points. So again, a victory for Minnesota, 106-101. PBA Bowling, the Reno Open up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Bill Walton, Michelle Tafoya and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Brett Musburger. So long from Minneapolis.